You guys, we just had the most funniest moment. We got these sandwiches made for us for free. The guy was like in love with us. But hey, I'm gonna take it. This is saucisse, beurre, and bread. So butter, what is this like? What do you call it? Prosciutto? And bread. It's so good. We just got to Nice, which is another beautiful town in the south of France. But before we get going with this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and also hit the like button. Okay, so Nice is a really fun town. They have tons of live music, farmers markets every single day. It's colorful, it's bright. Definitely a way bigger city than Cannes. So I'm kind of liking the feel of that. There's a lot more like momentum here, although I loved the slowness of Cannes. But this is our first day here, and we stopped to get a chicken banh sandwich at this really cute little place in this adorable road. Just like, look how adorable this is. And this is kind of a big overview of Nice here. They have this beautiful, gorgeous boardwalk where everyone gets to just walk on, and again, right next to the beach and close to all the restaurants. I got a salmon poke bowl for dinner, and then we ended up getting candied peanuts. Actually, I got candied peanuts. Marina didn't have any, but I was like, I love these things. So I got myself some candied peanuts, and we're just like walking around enjoying the city and taking in kind of the views and the ambiance. Hey guys, welcome back. We are in Nice right now, which is a beautiful, kind of bigger city in the south of France, and we are spending the week there in a hostel. Definitely not really our vibe, but I actually thought that I was going to be alone at this part of the trip, and Marina last minute decided to join me, but I figured, I was like, if I'm gonna be alone, like, might as well just like get a place that is like super cheap, and Airbnbs were kind of a bit pricier in that area, so I was like, might as well like do a hostel for like $30 a night, and potentially meet people as I'm there alone. But Marina ended up deciding to join me, but I already paid for my hostel, so anyways, she's at the hostel too. But because we're at a hostel, we have decided to pretty much leave all day. Like, literally, we do not want to go back to the hostel until like at least midnight, and then like we wake up at 6 and we're up and we're out of there. So we left this morning to this beautiful small little village called Ez, and it was just, I mean, gorgeous. And one of those beaches where it's like, we were there early in the morning, and like, I mean, nobody except for a couple naked men sitting on the rocks. Like, that's about it. From there, we ended up deciding that we wanted to go to the medieval village of Ez, which is like up. You have to take a bus like all the way up at the top of the hill, and it is just gorgeous. And there's these amazing gardens overlooking, it's literally, it's a panoramic view, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And This morning, by the way, for breakfast, we were just like eating, on our way to the train station. We had like some dates and fruit and some, I had some candied peanuts that I bought from last night, and that's pretty much what we did. Simple. You don't need anything, fancy all the time. That's one of the good things about like food freedom, is that like, hey, we're not picky, let's just grab something, let's go. And and having a strong body that is able to just to do those things and still maintain health. But that's part of food freedom, right? Just being able to like grab something, go eat while you're walking. Like, food's not like a big deal, so like we don't need to like sit down and like focus on our eating all the time. And I think mindful eating can sometimes be misconstrued, or I should say it can be taken out of balance. Like, yes, mindful eating is important, sit down. I think eating with people is super important, really making dinners and lunches like a priority, but also like, don't be thinking that you need to be like mindfully chewing every single bite, every single meal that you ever have in order to be quote unquote healthy. I'm like, what's part of just being healthy with food, I feel like, is being able to grab and go and just eat on the run. But anyways, we are at Ez at the beach, and we decided to make our way up to the medieval village. We walked around, it was gorgeous. We walked down into town and realized that the bus, usually it comes every hour, but it was skipping noon. Classic French thing. They were probably taking a lunch break. And so we had another hour, and so I was like, well, I'm gonna go get like a pissaladière, which is a really yummy, it's like caramelized onions, usually an anchovy, sometimes dark olives, on top of like, a pie crust or puff pastry or whatever type of bread they used on the bottom. And I saw that there was a guy who actually had like an oven who was making it there, so I was like, okay, let's go do that. But then we walked by and I was like, it actually doesn't look that good. I usually like it when it's on puff pastry. That's how my mom used to make it, and this was on, I don't know, I feel like it was kind of on focaccia, but it looked like dry focaccia. So anyways, so we ended up just like walking around the town, and then we were walking like in the market, and there was a boucherie, which is it's what do you call it in America? The place where you sorry, been in France for too long. The place where you sell meat. A butcher shop. There you go. But like an outside in the farmer's market butcher shop. And we were just like walking by, and we like heard this conversation that was going on in between the like two men, like the guy who was buying and then the guy who was sending, and it was kind of like a weird funky conversation. So we kind of just like stopped in our tracks. We're like, this is weird. But then we're just like standing there, and he's like, voulez-vous quelque chose, mademoiselle? And I was like, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I like grab something. And then we start like talking to this guy. This is kind of funny, and this proves the point of like the importance of food freedom. So then we start like talking to this guy, and we're like, oh no, sorry, we're just like listening to the conversation. And then like he asked where we're from, and he's like, California. He's like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to go there. And I was like, well, we can do an exchange. I was like, I'll take some saucisson for you like coming to California and staying in my place. And I wasn't like being serious, right? I was like making a joke, and he's like, oh yes, totally, oh my gosh, yes, let's do it. And he literally he just loved us. Like, he loved our energy. We were talking for a while before this, and he was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to do that. Like, you guys, what do you want right now? Let me make you something. And like literally he pulls out like the best, he pulls out like the best meat that he has, like a big kind of like thing of it, and he puts it on the slicer and starts this beautiful, it wasn't prosciutto, but it was like, something similar to that. I'm forgetting the name right now. Then he goes to the stand right next to him, and he grabs 2 baguettes and a thing of butter, and he comes back and he literally thick slices of butter on the baguettes with the salami, like packing it in, and just like each, like he gave us each a whole baguette. So Marina had a whole baguette and I had a whole baguette, and he was like so stoked and so excited to give this to us. Like, he was like, I want to give this to you guys, like this is on the house. Like, super, super, super nice. And I was like super thankful. Like, first off, like, we were hungry. We were planning on waiting until we went to the other town to get food, but that actually worked out perfectly because our bus was late anyways. But it was just so good to be in that like receptive mode with the food and with his gift. It wasn't even with the food, it's like to be in a receptive mode of his gift. The gift happened to be food, and it was so nice to be able to just say yes to that with no reservations and to start eating it right in front of him, right? It's like, you're not gonna be like, thanks, and put it in your purse and like go throw it away. Like, first off, no, this is nice food. You don't do that. Second off, that's like throwing away someone's like love and someone's like graciousness, and it's like, are you kidding me? That's like so rude to just like throw it away. Anyways, so he was super excited to like meet us that we're from California because he wants to like move out there. He ended up opening champagne and like, so we had like a butter salami sandwich with champagne at like noon while we were waiting for our bus in this random town of this guy who just like bought us this food. Can we just pause for a second though and appreciate this amount of butter on the sandwich? Like, yes. Yes, 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 yes. These were the sandwiches that my mother made me going to school when I was a little kid. She never made PB&J. It was like thick, visible slabs of butter with like some sort of salami. Or my mom would put like just a slab of chocolate with it and make like a chocolate butter type of baguette situation going on. This is just pure heaven in my mind. And that's life. And he kept on saying that. Actually, he was like, le vie est belle, le vie est belle. And we're like, yeah, it's like really, really pretty, and there's so many beautiful elements of it, and it's so amazing to meet people and to kind of converse over food. Like, food kind of gathers us. Anyways, just wanted to share that story because I know previous me would have been like petrified that he even like started making a sandwich or anything like that, and then literally probably would have awkwardly not eaten it. Awful, I know. Anyway, so the point is, like, do you want to be the type of person who is living in a state of being ungrateful, being picky, being I'm trying to think of other words here to kind of describe it, kind of that just closed off energy? Or do you want to be someone who's in that really welcoming energy? And what's beautiful about that is I swear that when you're in this welcoming energy, it like actually brings in more welcoming energy. And so like things just like happen to come to you. Like this moment, I'm like, for Marina and I, she's also a very magnetic person. I'm a very magnetic person. I have kind of my whole life really just like drawn people to me, gotten things, yada yada, like things given to me, all of that. But even more so as I stepped into a state of abundance for myself, that stuff just like skyrocketed. Like I get stuff all the time. I meet people all the time. They're just like for free. They're just like, oh my gosh, I have 20 pounds of peaches. I'm so glad you're here. And let's just like give it to you. I'm like, okay, great. Like, thanks. That's amazing. Or even like my car. My previous car broke down. I had a Subaru Forester. Loved it. She was so amazing. And it broke down, and literally a week later, someone happened to just donate my family a car. And I was like, great, well, I'm gonna drive this. I drove that car for a year and a half until I finally bought my new car. But that's just kind of the energy that I've always just like had in life, and ever since opening up to food and opening up to just really what it is opening up to life, I mean, things have just skyrocketed in that sense. And so you have to ask yourself, like, let's put food aside here because it's not really about that. And I think if we think about food, then we go, well, I'm really scared. We attach food to being scared because the eating disorder has such a strong negative mindset against it. But can you think about what type of person do I want to be? What type of energy do I want to have? What type of experiences do I want to have? And if you think of it that way, it's like focus on that, and then understand that the openness with food comes in conjunction with that. Does that make sense? So it's like, instead of forcing yourself to be open with food, first put your energy towards, I want to be an open person. And as you are an open person, I think naturally you start falling into an open state with food, if that makes sense. So that's it for this video. We've been at the beach all day and it's like so gorgeous, but I finally found some reprieve in the shade. Whew, I am getting sunned out here, but I think we're gonna take off, and I think we're gonna go try and find some ice cream somewhere because we need to cool down, and ice cream is the perfect way to cool down on a summer's day. So, by the way, I'm sorry I'm like whispering here, but there are like people all around and I don't want to ruin their like quiet Sunday afternoon, so that's why I'm awkwardly whispering. Okay guys, I will see you in my next one. Bye. We made it back into Old Town of Nice, and we got some just little appetizers, drinks, just kind of waiting for the night to come. It's really hot during the day, so we are like ready for it. We finally got our ice cream. This is probably like 11:45 at night that we finally got it. We tried to get ice cream earlier and it just didn't work out. But this ice cream place was absolutely delicious.